Hello and welcome to beautiful Fishery Park in Unicoi, Tennessee, where today I will be teaching you all how to strike with a long-handled implement otherwise known as a baseball bat. So striking as a skill theme is defined as either giving impetus to or giving force to an object by either hitting it, punching it, or tapping it. So today we're going to first talk about the different skill levels at each grade level 2 through 5, and we're going to start off with the pre-control skill level where kids are first learning how to swing with a plastic bat. So it's usually around in second grade whenever kids start learning how to swing with a plastic bat, and they are going to use a tee to hit off of. And the different equipment that will be used during this is a plastic bat, a tee obviously, a foam ball, and a beach ball. Now, I know what you're thinking to yourselves, why would a beach ball have anything to do with an activity such as hitting off of the tee? Well, the answer is simple. We as physical educators like it when our students feel confident about what they're doing and they really start to enjoy the activity more. Instead of a student feeling like they failed at something whenever they don't get an activity, we manipulate it to make them feel more confident about what they are doing. So that's the reason behind using a beach ball. Next is the control level, and during this, third graders will actually be able to hit a plastic ball or a foam ball whenever it is not stationary on a tee and it's moving towards them either by soft toss or actually being pitched to. So our the equipment used for the control level is a plastic bat, a plastic ball, and a foam ball. So moving on to our last skill level is utilization and proficiency. During this, students will learn now how to bunt, and bunt by pointing towards the direction that they are going to hit the ball towards. So if they're hitting towards the first base line, then they'll try to angle the bat a certain way to hit it down the first baseline. The equipment used during the utilization and proficiency task is going to be a plastic bat and a plastic ball. So let's go right into the cues now of how to swing with a plastic bat. First thing we want to do is get our grip. Our grip is very important during swinging a bat, because if I swing this bat and I have a loose grip, I think you can see it's going to fly out of my hands and possibly injure someone or something. That's why, since I'm right-handed, it will be my right hand over my left, knuckles locked. Or if you're left-handed, it will be your left hand over your right hand, knuckles locked. And what we're going to do after we get our grip is we're going to come to our tee like this, and we're going to be side orientated toward our target. The reason why is if I'm standing here like this facing toward my target, I think you can see that I'm not going to hit anything but air. So that's why side orientation is very important during the swinging process. So now, once we have side orientation, we have our grip, we want to have an equal stance that is shoulder width apart and not too wide, not too narrow, but balanced. So just getting an athletic stance like you would in any other sport. After that, we want to take a step toward our target. After we step, we're going to rotate our hips, okay? And we're we're going to squash the bug with our back foot. After we squash the bug with our back foot, then we swing. Now I know that's a little bit fast, but just think about it as step, squash the bug, slide off the table, follow through. So this is what it looks like one last time at full speed. Okay, that concludes the introduction of this video, and we'll move on to the task 1 next. So now for task number 1, I'm actually going to use a partner for this, and luckily my father has taken time out of his day and busy work schedule to help me out. So since it's so windy outside, he's going to hold the beach ball on the tee while I hit it 10 times. So here is what we're going to do on task number 1. We want to be close enough to the tee to obviously hit it, and we want to line ourselves up with the tee. After that, we just do our basic swing, like the cues we talked about. You see there? I didn't try to do anything fancy with the bat. I wasn't trying to kill the ball. I was just doing the basic cues of stepping, squashing the bug, sliding off the table, and following through. Now, let's see what it looks like on the second attempt. You see there? Another good hit. I'm not trying to kill the ball. I'm just trying to make contact. That's the whole goal of this activity, is making contact with the ball. So, now that you guys have seen what to do on the beach ball, maybe once I get to the next ball, which is the plastic ball, it will make more sense. So, okay, I think 5 is good. So, let's try it now with the plastic balls. See there? It didn't go far, but it was a grounder, and that's okay. You know, not all the time are you going to get up underneath the ball. You're just trying to make contact with it off of the tee. Sometimes that happens whenever you hit the tee a little bit too hard. That is how not to do it. That is how to do it. So, just a few more here. And we'll use foam balls next. Okay, so that's pretty good on the plastic balls. I think for time purposes today, then I'm going to skip doing the foam balls. So the basic goal of this is to make contact with the ball off of the tee, because we want to emphasize at this young age how to hit off of the tee. Now, for added extension, you could do this. you could set the tee apart from the student like this to make it more difficult to hit off of, where they have to actually step forward like this outside of what's known as the strike zone and be able to make contact with the ball while it still make it further out into the infield or outfield. So that concludes task 1, and we'll move on to task 2 next. Hello, and now we're going to talk about task number 2, which is soft toss. So during this, I'm going to have my father, he's going to be soft tossing me the plastic balls, and I'm going to have to do the cues very fast in order to hit the ball while it's in the air, while it's not stationary. So let's see what that looks like. Dad, if you wouldn't mind throwing me the ball. See there, I just made contact with it. I wasn't trying to kill it. Again. That went farther than I expected, but again, I was just trying to make contact. Again, another good one. I'm on it today. Grounder. Redo. That's how not to do it. Grounder. It's a windy day today, so I think you know this. During all that, it's very windy and some of the balls curve. So during this activity, the whole goal is for students to be able to hit a ball that is not stationary, and really the best way to do this is, again, by doing soft toss, or what I'm going to have my father be doing here in just a second, which is actually pitching the plastic ball to me while it's in the air. So this is the added extension for this exercise. Windy day. Again, right there, I came loose on my stance. You know why? Because I wasn't in athletic stance. I was just half doing like on my stance. I wasn't wide enough on my stance to be balanced. So a few more here. Hit it with the barrel of the bat that time. Windy day. So this concludes task number 2, and we'll move on to task number 3 right now. So now on task number 3, we're going to be talking about probably one of the most strategic and deceptive types of batting that there is in baseball: bunting. Bunting is very important because you want to be able to not only get on base, but possibly move the runner or even put him in position to score. So the basic cues for bunting are as follows. You want to square around, okay, toward your target. You want to have proper grip, not with the bat like this, with your fingers holding like that, because you're just going to possibly break your knuckles at this point. So we want to have our thumb like this and our index finger underneath the bat like this, or if you're doing it left-handed, it'll look like this. Square around, bats like this. Okay, now this is what it'll look like at full speed. So I know that was a little bit quick, so let's break it down from a fundamental standpoint. We're going to square around, we got our grip. Now we're going to angle the bat, okay, where we want it. If I want to go down the third base line and move the runner that is on first base to second base, then what I'll do is angle my bat a certain way to where I will actually angle it to the target that I'm trying to hit it down. So after I do this, okay, so now I'm going to demonstrate to you how it's done. You see there? I hit it down the third base line, and that's what we want whenever the runner is at first. Now, what if the runner is at third? Obviously, we're going to square around and angle our bat towards the first base line. So, it'll look something along the lines of this. You see there? I was just trying to make contact with the ball. I'm not trying to swing with the bat like this or something crazy. I'm just trying to absorb the ball and then touch the bat to it. So, with that being said, we're going to do a next activity, which involves my father again pitching to me with the added twist now that I not only have to bunt, but I have to say what direction I'm going with the ball. So, Dad, if you would mind, please pitching me the ball, and let's see what this looks like. Third base. First base. You see there? That went foul because I didn't have the bat at the angle it's supposed to be at. Third base. First base. I hit it with the barrel that time. You're not supposed to do that. Third base. It's windy out here, guys. I apologize. Third base. First base. All right. Probably one more, just to show one more time. Third base. That was to the pitcher, but you guys get the point. So now what we're going to do with the bunting is my father is going to soft toss to me once again, and this time I'm doing the same rules. I'm going to bunt. I'm going to say where I'm bunting to. So he's going to be using tiny golf wiffle balls that are used in practice for golf, and we're going to use these as the added extension due to how small the object is. So we'll do about 5 of these, give or take, and let's see what it looks like. First base. Third base. First base. Third base. Third base. First base. And third base. Now, real quick, so that we can get on to our closure, I just want to talk about one time in the 7th inning in a high school game. I was up to bat, and the coach didn't tell me to do this, and I know that this is off topic, but I actually, with 2 outs and 1 man on base, I put it down the first baseline, and I was able to score that runner, and we won 2-1 because of that. That just goes to prove how important bunting is in baseball, because it's so deceptive that teams use it in the most crucial situations, and it's not very obvious when they're going to use it. That's why it's such a deceptive move, and it's so valuable to be able to know how to do. So let's move on to our closure, which will take place. And with that being said, swinging a bat is appropriate for early on in the baseball game in the earlier innings. But whenever it comes down to crunch time and it's like 1 out with 1 man on third base here, then I may just do a bunt to move that runner if it's a close game and not a lot of scoring, because you never know whenever a bunt may come up. That's why, again, it's so deceptive and is so useful in the sport of baseball to use. So let's talk about the cues one last time of how to swing a bat. We want to have our grip, okay? We don't want to have a gorilla grip on the bat. We want to be side orientated. Why? Because if I'm standing here like this, I'm swinging at air. I want to have my feet shoulder width apart, and I want to next step toward my target, not a huge giant step, but just a regular step toward my target. I'm going to twist my back foot in unison with rotating my hip, slide the bat off the table, and follow through. So, one last time for you guys, it'll look like this. Now, let's talk about, real quick, the cues of how to do a bunt. What was my first thing? Square to my target, grip, adjust, touch. Again, square, angle, touch, and that's how you do the 2 components of baseball. So, with that being said, we should look over just one more time the different areas of skill that occur during the swinging of the bat. Pre-control, which is whenever the students are hitting off of the tee, and it's actually a state standard. Number 2 is control, which is whenever a student is having to hit a baseball that is in the air like this. And lastly is the utilization and proficiency task of using a baseball bat, which is bunting a ball that is in the air and being able to control where that ball goes. And the main point of utilization and proficiency during this is the student will be able to control the distance, positioning, and the speed of the baseball by how they bunt it. If they put a little bit too much force on it, then it may go up in the air. If they don't put not enough force on it, then it's just going to drop dead like this, and it's easy for the catcher to throw someone out. So, before we get to the conclusion, I want to now talk about why we shouldn't use foam balls for this activity. The reason why is foam balls are so dense that they will travel much farther than the plastic balls, and the beach ball, obviously. So to demonstrate to you what I mean, here is 1, 2, 3 foam balls, and I'm going to self-toss to myself to demonstrate to you how far these go. So, demonstrating with the same cues that we just talked about, here it goes. There's one, and then it's in the air, but it's still made a long distance on the ground. Again, another good grounder. And the last one. Now you know why we do not use foam balls for these activities, because they travel so far. Now we're going to talk about another way that we can help kids get an eye for the ball. Is we can actually color the plastic balls by either making them red or green. So to show you what I'm talking about, with this plastic ball, we're going to color it green, making it nice and visible for our students. Okay, so now the green will signify to actually hit the ball, and we're going to talk about another color here in just a second to help kids get an eye for when to actually take a pitch instead of hit the ball. So now that we've got our green ball, let's use the red Sharpie and color this plastic ball. Okay, that's pretty good right there. So now, what I'm going to do with these balls and these balls right here is practice my eye for the ball. So, I'm going to be hitting the ball from my dad self-tossing it to me. So, let's see what it looks like. Green. Red. Green. Sorry guys, it's windy out here today. That time I couldn't really tell, it's getting a little bit dark out here. Green. Red. And red. You see, why this is important is so kids can get an eye for the ball, and it lets them know when to swing the bat and when not to swing the bat. So, let's move on to our conclusion. So, all these activities that I've done today facilitate learning of how to make contact with the ball, how to watch the ball to your bat and how to follow through, whether it be the swing or the bunt. We have to be able to not only make contact with the ball and watch it to our bat, but we have to put the follow through with each component of how to strike with the baseball bat. In conclusion, I hope that you enjoyed watching today's video, and we have a beautiful sunset here in the Valley Beautiful of Unicoi, Tennessee.